These poets are amazing. Front row, amazing. $50 extra in your pocket, amazing. Finger snap, amazing. Discovering a cliche for the first time, amazing. These people are simply amazing.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube. I am Joe Atticus Inch. Or am I? And today, this week on Poet Love, we travel deep into the past, into the macabre, the mysterious, the sheer heart of terror by talking about the master himself, Edgar Allen Poe. Born January 19th, 1809, Edgar Allan Poe is an American author and poet from Boston, most famously from the Boston area. He's famous for his terrifying fiction works such as The Black Cat, The Mask of the Red Death, a personal favorite of mine, and the classic Telltale Heart. He's also known for his terrifying works of poetry, including Annabel Lee, The Lake, and the classic tale of The Raven. Edgar Allan Poe died October 7th, 1849, under mysterious circumstances. People say perhaps it was alcohol, perhaps cholera, heart disease, suicide, or maybe the works of doctors that he talked about were ready to bring him into their world themselves. Edgar Allan Poe has since been a model for the modern horror. Stephen King, Dean Koontz to a lesser extent, and many, many more. And I'm gonna drop the act now. Really, it was me under the mask the whole time. But seriously, Edgar Allan Poe. When I was younger, one thing I loved was horror. I still love horror today. It is a genre that, as much as it is dying, and really, it is dying. There has not been really much horror, good horror out recently in various mediums. It is something I loved. Something I still love, and I still hope for a resurgence. And when it came to poetry, I fell in love with Poe for one poem in particular. The Raven. It is classic. Everyone knows the tale of the Raven. It's been done numerous times in various forms, including Lou Reed did an entire album called The Raven where he does a version. The classic Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episode with Homer and Bart. And for me personally, my very first book of poetry that I ever bought, The Raven and Other Poems, a Scholastic Classics book that I still keep to this day, and has various other wonderful poems by Edgar Allan Poe, such as the aforementioned Annabel Lee, The Lake, To Helen. It is, and of course, I love the fiction. They're classics. What can you not say about Edgar Allan Poe? Well, you could say a lot, but sometimes things can get lost in translation, per se. But he's had, the influence of Edgar Allan Poe. You've seen it, as I mentioned. Basically, almost all of modern horror can almost be transferred to Edgar Allan Poe. I mean, you can see it in Stephen King, in any other modern horror day writer. His life and his life has been, it's just been fascinating, and he'll always live on in various mediums, and the work will live on. I mean, it definitely lives on in my life. I mean, every Halloween, one of my favorite traditions is to listen to Christopher Walken read The Raven on YouTube. When I had a radio show back up in college, I played that every Halloween season. It is fantastic. Check that out. And I guess there's nothing else I can say. So we're going to dig into the magic shoebox here. Pick out a name for next week's exciting episode of Poet Love, and it is going to be mighty. Wink, wink, hint, hint. So until then, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Joe Atticus Inch. Remind you to keep the pens moving, live long and prosper. Till next time, I have some children to go scare.